You all got the memo, right?
Yep.
Everybody got the
Okay,
memo.
we're still in line.
Just look at these people coming in here on their little boats. That's so beautiful. Yeah. Thanks for coming to visit. And there's Alan.
We didn't come into this world, we came out of it. Like a wave from the ocean, we are not strangers here. All aboard!
So what'd you think?
Right on! Side by side with the human race that runs another race of beings. The inhuman ones. The race of artists who, goaded by unknown impulses, take the lifeless mass of humanity and by the fever and ferment with which they imbue it, turn the soggy dough into bread, and the bread into wine, and the wine into song. Out of the dead compost and the inert slag, they breed a song that contaminates.
Yeah, so I've got Dave right behind me. We're going to shuttle the cars right now. The sun is shining, the tide's coming into the bay. I believe high tide is at like 6:50. So we've got some time. And we have some barbecue to look forward to.
And over here,
I saw the white.
there's some white swans.
Five white cranes. Like.
Ow!
Cool to see that boat right off the back.
Yeah, I know.
We'll have to head that way and then this way. Is that what we're doing?
That's
We were out lurking the streets the other day, and we saw this crane, and it was out in front. It was like one of those junk days where people get to put all the junk in front of their house, and it was a blue heron, and it was
It
like a
was
statue
petrified.
on the grass,
Like it was like.
and
I'm like, is it real? It looks real.
we said that
but
thing is
no,
rad.
it's
It looks like it's got real feathers. Grab it.
Yeah. So we go like
So she went up to it,
almost like 5 feet away to
and it took off, and its
And
wingspan was.
It looked at me. I was
Giant.
like, whoa, and it like took. Oh man, it was fun.
So they
And
would
they were
move with the
moving with the
water.
wind a little bit, and it was. I swear they looked. Anyway.
Let's get in the water.
It's spring of 2021, and we are just moving out from under the multiple tier system of the COVID pandemic. We're not sure what's up the coast from Point Molate here in Richmond, California, but we're here to find out. We see old broken piers, sunken ships, and shimmering waves on the San Francisco Bay. Will winds pick up and start throwing these same waves across our bow? Will the tides stay in our favor and keep us from being pushed out towards the Golden Gate? I've checked the weather and tide charts in advance, so it looks like we have a good chance of reaching our destination without difficult weather. Myself, Dave Nelson, and Maya pull our kayaks off the car and carry them down to Point Molate Beach. Our plan is to paddle about 3 miles past the old whaling station around Point San Pablo to San Pablo Marina, where we've heard a great spot called Black Star Pirate BBQ sits on a dock. The views of San Francisco are always inspiring. Richmond Bridge spans nearby cities of Richmond and San Rafael.
Yeah, that's a nice little spot for a picnic, right? We should bust down the beers.
A castle that is the largest winery in the United States before Prohibition, called Winehaven, overshadows the coastline. Old rotting piers provide small islands where birds nest amongst salty waves and whistling winds. An old lighthouse called East Brothers sits on craggy stone. We shove off from shore with our eyes fixated on this rusty sunken ship about a quarter mile offshore. Ghost-like sounds awakens our curiosity. It's time for an adventure ride on.
We should stash a bottle here sometime.
Right?
And then we won't have this problem with us. This is outstanding. Look at where we are. Got the Richmond Bridge going over the bay. You get a piece of wood to go across this too so we can get to the top.
The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Hermes was a 160-foot medium-endurance cutter patrol vessel built for the U.S. Coast Guard in Bath, Maine, with the home port of San Pedro, California. She was to serve as an enforcement vessel for Prohibition. January 3rd, 1937, Hermes delivered the Marble Cabrillo Monument to San Miguel Island.
Not us. This is outstanding. Look at where we are. Got the Richmond Bridge going over the bay. You see San Francisco right over there.
Let's go get our beers that we forgot on the beach.
The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Hermes was decommissioned November 2nd, 1948, and sold May 16th, 1958. Winehaven was a winery and town in Richmond, California that held the title of world's largest winery for 12 years, 1907 to 1919. It later became a fuel depot for the United States Navy. After the 1906 San Francisco earthquake left the city in ruins, the California Wine Association moved to Point Molate and began construction on Winehaven. At the peak of the season, as many as 400 workers lived here. The Navy bought the 412-acre site in 1941, moved into the winery buildings, and constructed 20 large concrete tanks on the hillsides above for a fuel depot. Despite the switch from wine to fuel, the historic district remains virtually unaltered from its days as a winery.
And it plays that song and dances.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So we'd spin in that song's been in our head for like 2 days. Every time we come home, we push the button. We play it for my cat stuff too.
Wherever you pick one.
In 1956, Del Monte built a whale processing plant north of Point Molate's Terminal 4. This last whaling station in the United States was active at Point San Pablo until 1971, when American whaling was finally banned. When active, the station was manned by a crew of 40 men who boasted they could reduce a humpback whale to oil, poultry meal, and pet food in an hour and a half. The station's boats hauled in an average of 175 finbacks, humpbacks, and sperm whales a year. Whales were brought into San Pablo Bay, dropping off their catch in the shallow bight by the station. Taking one at a time, the huge whales were pulled up the ramp with big grappling hooks, hooked up to winches, and pulled up the gangplank by their tails. As the men worked, that part of the bay filled with blood and brine. The whales to be processed rolled in the shallow waters near the gangplank. The whale's skeletal remains were dropped off the ramp where bottom feeders waited in the shallows.
Where'd Dave go? Right? Gotta get some muscles for sure. Yeah, I don't think I need to go through there. Well, what are we going to do with the kayaks, though, even if we can? Look how fast the current is moving right now. We are booking. I believe that's where we're going. You can see there's a brown building up ahead. Yeah.
And like the purple windows. Man, it probably just keeps it there, right? There's no logo on it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
We're working on it. Technical issues. Look at these people coming in here on their little boats. That's so beautiful. Yeah. Thanks for coming to visit. And there's Alan. Alan. Alan.
How you doing there, Dave?
Ever since you first walked through the door, then I started
Like Toto from Wizard of Oz.
He relayed the message that he's probably not
your worst has happened yet. 'Cause all you ever do is bring me down, making me a fool all the time. They all wonder why I wear a frown. 'Cause honey, all you do is bring me down.
This is kind of cool looking too. What do you think? Like right here? This is pretty busy.
Got the memo, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Everybody got
Is that
the
okay if we're
memo.
still in line?
There's food. We don't know what.
Thank you.
So by the time everybody gets in there, we'll let
Heart is in the clouds. And when I hear that sound, honey, love coming around. I ain't got time today. I ain't got time today. I ain't got time. Ooh, no, no, no. Ooh, no, no, no.
Green bottle. Green chairs. That's a good song name. Scratch that itch. Maybe it's time of growth.
They like it. They like it. It's affection like this. They really like it. They're like, come here, pet me, keep me warm, caress me, and scratch that itch.
Scratch that itch.
Next episode, me and a buddy fly into Page, Arizona, and kayak Antelope Canyon on Lake Powell. Curiosity is the beast that never sleeps.